Hey guys, I'm here to show you some issues that I'm having with my Empi rear disc brake kit. This is for a VW Beetle, Super Beetle. And what's going on is I got a lot of noise, and it's not high-pitched noise. It's after you drive it for a couple minutes or so, things start to heat up, and it's this low roaring noise, and it's a vibration. And what's happening is on the outside of this disc, you can see the pad. The pad is not seating all the way on the disc. And I think the cause of it is this caliper. I've done a little research on these, and what's happening is this caliper, when you apply the brakes, the caliper, this metal right here is thin. The caliper is bending or giving a little bit, giving enough so that these two pieces where the pad fits in, and it goes over the caliper, goes over the disc like this. These two pieces are actually flexing, and it's only applying part of the pad, and that is causing the noise. So I did some research, and some guys out there are using golf calipers. So I found this. This is a 2008 Beetle caliper. Okay, this is the bracket for this caliper, but you can take the Beetle caliper. Wait, let's get it right. Like this. Kind of hard to hold this thing. All right, here we go. So it looks like this Beetle caliper, this 2008 Beetle caliper, is going to fit right on this bracket. So I'm going to put this on there. First I want to show you guys this. I want to show you how much beefier these calipers are than this Empi caliper. I mean, you can see how much thicker the metal is on these things compared to each other. So anyway, I'm just making this to show you guys some problems that you may or may not have with these kits. These kits are not a bolt-on kit. You are going to have to do some fabricating. I had to shim this hub out to make this thing work, because I could not get the bracket to bolt on. I've seen some other videos out there where guys are having problems getting the bracket to bolt on, and it's scrubbing up against the disc, because these things, sometimes they'll have to be shimmed out, or you may even have to have the disc machined, have the inside of a machine so you can shim it, so you can bring it in some. So right now I'm gonna bolt this caliper on, get everything bolted up, make sure it's gonna fit, and get the pads on there and see how it's gonna work. Sorry about the noise, guys. That's my neighbor cutting the grass. They haven't cut it in a month, so they decided to do it now. I want to show you these brackets. These are the Empi bracket and the 08 VW bracket. The 08 VW bracket has got an offset on it. I was hoping I could use these brackets so I could use the stock VW pads, but with the offset on it, it's not going to work. Looks like it offsets maybe, wow, it's about a half an inch or so. It's a pretty good bit. But I've heard that you can get VW Passat calipers, and they're very similar as far as the offset goes to these calipers. That way, if you wanted to use the Passat pads, they would fit into the bracket, because this bracket is what determines which pads you use. Next thing you got to do, if I can get in here, this bracket has to be ground down. This caliper is a little bit bigger. This caliper is a little bit bigger than this caliper. So just take a grinder, take a little bit of that off, and it'll bolt right up onto it. You're going to need to get this brake line. This brake line is for the 08 Beetle. You can get this at O'Reilly's, about 40 bucks. But your best bet, if you want to save some money, probably go to a junkyard, get the caliper and the brake line, save yourself a bunch of money. I think it's from anywhere from 98 to 2012, I believe. They're all the same, so anything in between there would fit. Okay, see this slot right here? I'm going to have to take a little bit off of that to get the pad to seat all the way down in there. The Empi pads they got this notch on them, and this notch fits in there like so. So I can grind that back, make it a little bit deeper. That pad will seat all the way down in there. So this pad will slide down in there. Like so. You didn't need to take out very much, just a little bit. Okay, I run into a snag with my emergency brake cable. Looks like it's too short. And I already have them adjusted back as far as they'll go. What happened was, with these Empi calipers, the cables they give you are actually too long for the Super Beetle. So what I had to do, I had to shorten them using washers. Actually, I had to shorten them about 1 inch, and then I had to cut the threads off. Otherwise, they would have been poking through the top of the emergency brake boot. So I kind of messed up on that one. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to check out the original cables that came off the car and see if I might could salvage them. So we'll see how that works. Alright guys, all I had to do was take those washers off that I used to shim up. It just hit me when I was talking about that earlier. They were too long, so I had to shim them up with some washers. So all I did was take the washers out, drop the line back, put it in here, and you need to take some pliers or channel locks or whatever and crimp this thing down over the ball, because it's too big for this cable, for the ball of the cable. It'll slide right back through it, but if you stick it in there and crimp this shut, it should work just fine. So now I'm gonna put the nuts back on the emergency brake cables and make sure that's gonna work. Okay, I got my e-brake cables put on there and adjusted. These were the shims that I pulled off. I had 2 on each side. The e-brake cables actually work better on these calipers than they do on the Empi calipers, because they're just way too long. They give you a little kit if you want to cut off the cables and put on some new ends, and it's just, I don't know, it's a real pain. And to me, it's a little bit shady the way, you're supposed to cut off the ends of the cable and screw on these other ends. This setup right here works way better. The pedal feels really good. It feels firm. It's absolutely higher than it was with the Empi calipers on it. I can already tell a difference. Definitely more firm. When I first put the Empi calipers on, it was so spongy. It was really bad. After a couple of days, the sponginess did seem to come out of it. But these, I haven't even driven the car yet, and I can already tell that these are a lot more solid. So I'm gonna get the wheel bolted on, drive it, and we'll find out how they work. Hey guys, heads up on your brake line here. I put the wheel on, and I noticed the back side of the wheel was scrubbing brake line, so make sure you get this bent out of the way. I'm gonna have to go and do the other side. Otherwise, I would have drove off, and the brake line would have been scrubbing the wheel. Alright guys, right now the issue is this brake line right here. It is riding really close to the rim. These rims are 17 by 7. Right now that brake line is super close. It's only about 1/4 of an inch off the edge of the rim, which is too close for me. I'm going to see if I can change that. So I was able to reroute this brake line. So originally it was coming off of here up around this way. So what I did, see if I can get this, I rerouted it down through the front of the caliper, right behind the drive shaft. So now it comes down along the bottom of the caliper. So basically all you do is just spin it around, and that works perfectly. The issue now is I need to fabricate some kind of little bracket right here to attach this line so it's not flopping around. So I'll see what I can come up with for that. So I got my bracket welded on for this thing. Let me see if I can. So you can see I got my brake line going through here. I just have a took a piece of fuel line and put it around the brake line. I've got it's a 1/2 inch EMT bracket that's I've got it strapped on around the line, so just running around here nice and neat, out of the way everything. So just need to get my caliper bled and get the wheel back on and do the same thing with the other side. We'll see how it does. Alright guys, I wanted to make a note of this. My wheels that I'm using, they are 17-inch wheels. So those of you that have the stock 15-inch wheels, this caliper, what I did, I took my stock spare tire or spare wheel, put it on, and it is scrubbing this caliper. So the caliper that Empi makes is a smaller, it's, I guess you could call it thinner. This piece right here, the caliper, the metal is thinner, and they probably make it like that to clear the spare wheel. So before you guys decide to do this conversion with a stock 15-inch rims, you want to make sure this is going to clear. You could probably grind some of this down. You know, I don't know about doing all that. I wouldn't recommend that. But you could probably grind it and make it fit. But I'm just giving you a heads up on that before you go to all this trouble and, you know, get all this stuff on here and then go to put your wheels on there and things don't fit. Alright guys, so there's been a little bit of a time lapse here. I've got everything back together. I've been driving the car, put, you know, a few miles on it. So as you can see, the pad is covering a lot more of the rotor. I don't think the whole pad is covering the rotor, but it's doing a lot better. And the big thing is the noise is gone. There's absolutely no noise whatsoever. The pedal feels better. It's less spongy. The height of the pedal, I'm not really sure if it's any higher, but it is definitely less spongy, and to me the braking power feels better. You know, I can't prove any of that, but the big deal of it is the noise is gone. So that problem is solved. Also, I got the new Wheelwood calipers. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So I called Bruce at Vintage V-Dubs, and I got the brackets ordered for this. So hopefully the next video will be putting these guys on the car. So I just wanted to throw this in real quick for you guys before I end the video. Just going to show you what the car looks like.